Oh shit. Here we go again. Phew. I'm telling you, I'm allergic to streaming. My nose has been completely fired, and then I start streaming, and it's like, nah, not allowed. Right. Hey. Let's continue where we left off. Which is here. I awoke that morning minutes before my alarm. I felt slightly groggy, but I didn't exactly feel bad. It was more of a physical exhaustion. Oh, here we go with my fucking... my fucking words. I can't speak. I can't read. Exhaustion of a mind ready to take on the day. Fuck me. I stretched and quickly changed into my clothes before heading downstairs with my bag. As I reached the lobby, I stopped and sniffed the sudden new smell in the air. Is it stinky? Stinky smell. Breakfast. I continued on. Do demons just like to cook for me? Is that just a thing? I continued my way into the dining room to see Diana laying out a plate covered with sliced fruit. On the table were delicious smelling eggs, toast, bacon, ham, veggies, and juice. I felt my mouth salivate. I was gonna say, like, how can you smell fruit? And then I read, like, eggs, and I was like, oh. But then I remembered that it was Diana serving breakfast, and I shook my head. Yeah, we're not too sure on Diana. What are you doing?
Ah, you're up. Come. Breakfast. I didn't know what you liked, so I made everything I knew humans ate for this time of day.
Cool. Demons just they like to cook for me. What can I say? I walked over and scanned the table before giggling. Diana raised an eyebrow at me.
And what is so funny?
You didn't make everything breakfast related, you forgot a couple of things. Like pancakes and waffles and crumpets.
Like what?
Coffee, pancakes, waffles. See? I know this shit. Diana looked almost insulted before looking to the table and recounting the plates. I laughed harder, making her glare at me.
I haven't been in the human world long enough to know everything, alright? Unlike the boys, I know little to nothing about what you humans eat in your homes.
Okay. At the mention of the boys, I suddenly remembered them. They treated me like part of their family, caring for me and making sure I was okay beyond anything. You are Mike. I am Mike. They were servants to me and I let them go. I let out a sigh at the memory. Little did I know that Diana stared at me the entire time. I shook my head and looked up to the table, getting an empty plate and filling it with what I wanted before sitting and eating. Diana remained standing, watching me. I felt almost naked under her gaze. I've said this twice now. Like, I always just feel naked when she looks at me. So I looked over, pausing my eating. Aren't you going to eat?
I already ate.
Bitch. What did you eat?
You really wish to know?
I do. I wanted to know more about demons. I wanted to know more about her. Of course, I said yes. Diana stared at me in surprise at me before smirking a bit and reaching into her cleavage. Huh? I watched as she pulled out a small purple vial. She popped the cork and poured a mere couple sipfuls into her palm before recorking the vial and placing it in her dress. Diana closed her eyes and closed her hand. What was she doing? This was so odd to watch, yet at the same time I was practically at the edge of my seat in curiosity. What was she going to do? Her hand started to open, almost like a blossoming flower, and revealed a small peach-sized fruit. It was purple and had almost an enchanting smell to it that made my food seem almost disgusting.
A plant from the abyssal plains. We call it a sweet flower. Would you like to try it?
Kind of. Sure. I nodded, staring at the food. Wait, is this a trick? Am I gonna die? Is she gonna wipe my memories if I eat this? It looked absolutely glorious and delectable. I couldn't resist grabbing onto the chance to try it. Is it going to be disgusting? Diana nodded before cupping the fruit in both hands and pulling the purple flesh from the fruit, revealing a juicy blackish centre, as if it was cut on the inside. Diana pulled out a perfect slice and handed it to me.
I must say, you may be the first human to try this fruit. You should consider yourself lucky.
Okay. I nodded, not pulling my eyes away from the fruit slice in my hand. It was juicy and clear, and its clear juice painted over my fingers. I somehow didn't care. I wanted to try it and savour it. I lifted the small slice to my lips and took a small bite, feeling ecstasy run through my mouth. I almost couldn't fight back the moan that was erupting in my throat from my throat. I'm about to moan over fruit, the fuck. It was sweet, yet it was slightly tart. It was the perfect combination, and at the same time it felt so unnatural. I felt not only pleasure in my mouth, but my body began to feel energized and warm. Lovely. Sex fruit. All of that was from a small bite. I swallowed the biteful and let out a pleasured sigh, making Diana smirk slightly at me with a raised eyebrow. I couldn't lie to her about how it tasted. It's delicious.
That it is. They're natively grown in my kingdom, so I have the pleasure of enjoying these every day.
You have a kingdom?
I do. The boys are not the only royals in the demon world, sweetie. I just so happen to be a princess.
I am in the presence of a princess. Oh my god. I stared in surprise. She was really a princess? How? She looks so mature. She was more of a queen than a princess. I wouldn't go that far. Really? You're a princess? You seem more like a queen. Yes, queen! Slay! For a split second I swore I saw Diana blush, but she started to laugh. I shook my head from the fort. I can't read.
You flatter me, little girl. You best be careful. I may just take your flattery as an invitation to take your energy.
My flattery is not consent. Thank you very much. I shut my mouth, feeling a blush run across my own cheeks. I returned to eating the fruit, hearing her chuckle and eat the remainder of the fruit on her own. Surprisingly, I felt full just from that small slice. How could that be? The only explanation I had was that it was a demon fruit, so I mentally accepted it just as that. Even. What I didn't expect was Diana leaning over and lifting my chin to look down at me.
Messy, aren't you?
She's flirting with me. I stared as Diana came closer and gently kissed my cheek by the corner of my lip, making me gasp slightly. What was she doing? Why was she kissing my cheek? I was red in the face already, and here she was taking advantage. Diana pulled away and slightly licked and popped her lips. What?
You had a little juice on the side of your lip. It was bothering me.
I ran my fingers over where she kissed me and felt my red face grow even hotter. Diana chuckled slightly at the sight, making me almost glare at her. I didn't know if she was flirting with me or trying to embarrass me. Either way, she was winning. Eventually, my alarm started going off, reminding me to be ready for Naomi and Suzu. Right, school was a thing. I stood from my chair and grabbed my bag, walking out of the dining room.
And where are you going, might I ask?
I have to go to school.
Ah, I see.
I looked to Diana, feeling that she was up to something. She had her arms crossed, looking at me as if I owed her something. What?
Well, I don't exactly want you to leave this house with the memories you have. I'd be breaking the rules if I allowed that.
But we had a deal. You stay for a day, and I keep my memories until you leave. I still have school to go to, though.
Then skip school and stay home.
What?
That, or I go with you.
What? Diana was crazy. To suggest going to my school was practically signing a death wish. Everyone would ask about her. What would I tell everyone? That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
I can't let you leave this house with those memories unless I'm with you. Rules are rules.
What rules?
The rules of the world, sweetie.
Rules of the world? What was she talking about?
The rules applies to any magical being that lives in the human world. They were established on a day you humans might know as the birth date of Jesus Christ.
Happy birthday, Jesus! Wait, so does that mean Christianity is legitimate?
It's a story to some, a religious faith to others. I won't deny or prove a religion exists because that's a human matter. Magical beings, on the other hand, don't pay attention unless they're angels from the world of heaven.
Jesus is real! My curiosity was peeking at my mind like a frantic bird. I wanted to know more. Diana was giving me answers and I wanted to ask more questions. However, I had to go to school. I was conflicted.
Stay, and I'll tell you more of these rules.
That's fucked up. You can't black me like that. And if I go...
Then I take your memories. Now.
Great. I was trapped. There was no way I could bring Diana with me without some repercussion. If she took my memories now, then I'd go to school without remembering anything. However, if I stayed, I would learn more, but I'd miss school. Fuck that, you're not taking my memories just for school. Skip school, I'll stay. I bit my lip. Did I really want to stay? I could feel my fingers run over my phone and call up Naomi. Without even listening to the phone, I spoke into it. Hey girls, I'm feeling really sick. Don't worry about coming and don't come over. I can't fucking read, man. I'm staying home and I'm getting better. Didn't tell me you were streaming. Very sorry. I thought... Well, I did tell you yesterday and you didn't come, so... you didn't answer me. I just assumed you would have been busy. I was going to, but I didn't want to bother you. Because you didn't... I was asleep. Oopsies. Very sorry. I will let you know next time. I hung up without even acknowledging Naomi or Suzu on the other end. Diana crossed her arms and I waited for... Check phone, please. I am checking my phone. Okie dokie. You could have just said that in chat. Why? Why? Stop doing that, You're interrupting me just to look at my phone when it's something you could have said in the chat. I hung up without even acknowledging Naomi or Suzu on the other end. Diana crossed her arms and waited for me to turn to her fully. I threw my bag to the side and looked to Diana, ready to learn more. You're going to tell me everything.
I'll do the best I can.
I'll do the best I can. Oh yeah, Diana, he is a princess in the demon world, apparently. Just found that out. I walked up the stairs with Diana behind me. I glanced into the dining room to see it already clean. I guess Diana used magic to clean up after us. She's magic. I continued and wound up... pardon me. And wound up walking into my bedroom. I sat on the bed as Diana stood by the balcony window. It was just like last night. I thought you were gonna put pillow before that. What? Pillow? So I can ask anything and you'll answer, right?
I'll give you the best answers I can give.
Knowing Diana, it could have been a white lie. She already had hidden some details, but I guess she had her reasons. However, I would need to know more than just details. The rules of the worlds, what are they?
They are the heart and soul of the human world, created and approved by all 5 worlds on the human date, December 25th.
Oh yeah, Ash. Can you see my overlay? This is an important question. Because if you can't, that makes me sad. 5 worlds.
In human terms, there is the human world, heaven, purgatory,
you can? Yes.
hell, and the abyss.
I'm so glad that you can. But I'm on PC. Yeah, that's fine. I had issues with it where you couldn't see my overlay yesterday, and I just kept it on. Can't on mobile. Ah. Okay. Because I've been having issues with it, and I put a lot of effort into it, as you can probably tell, because I drew all that myself, and I like made alerts and shit, and no one could see it. I was so mad about it. Like, it genuinely upset me, but I was like, oh, whatever. So I just kept it on just in case it. Thank you. Just in case it did work, and it works for certain people. So I checked it on my phone and I couldn't see it. I checked it on my sister's Twitch on her tablet, can't see it on hers, but Alex could see it and my friend Pitt could see it. So it's only working for specific people, or I don't know. It's weird. But I'm just going to keep it on in hopes that some people can, like the majority of people can see it. It works on PC. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I have that cleared up now, thank you. In human terms... Oh, that's Diana. Me. Checked on my phone and I can't see on there. Okay, no problem, thank you. What are the rules in this agreement?
These rules dictate the behavior of otherworldly creatures in the human world. Without them, there would be constant war between angels and devils, while the vampires would try and enslave humanity.
Huh.
Demons are merely the watchers, but often the devils or vampires will try and coax them into joining them.
So angels and vampires exist too?
Yes, angels are from heaven, watching over the human world with a careful eye. Vampires are from the human world, but pass on to purgatory before rebirth.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, ayo, vampires? Any hot ones? Well, hot for this art style. I stared at my lap. This was all amazing, yet this wasn't satisfying my curiosity. Did I want to know more? Did I want to know just about demons? This was all a huge deal, and I felt both over and underwhelmed. So these rules have rules over humans? Humans can't know about magic at all.
Correct. Humans, to the angels, need to remain pure and innocent. So they dictated that humans cannot know of the other worlds or of other beings. The rest of us agreed. Only a select few are allowed to know the truth about us.
But that's hardly fair, isn't it? I want to know who these few that are allowed to know are and why they're so special. Because I have a feeling that my granddad in this game obviously knew about it. But then I'm just like, well, why?
Well, take a look at yourself. You're barely proficient with magic. Your kind is too focused on who will fight the next war or who will screw the next person. I'm sorry to admit this, but humans are the weakest race in the planes of existence. The only ones who truly protect you are angels.
I felt angry that she made humans sound inferior. Yeah, we had our faults, but it wasn't like any of the other races were better, right? There was no way humans were the inferior race. Maybe your granddad was gay with the incubi in his house. My granddad was pretty old, so I'd hope not. But then again, who's to say that these young-looking demons are not like 100 years old? So maybe? Well, we're not inferior. I disagree with myself, Mike, because humans versus demons, devils, angels, and vampires, I feel like we are the inferior race in that situation. You know, we can't do fuck all. They can have horns and magic. Humans don't have shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fuck do we have? A knife.
Oh, you're not now. Really?
Diana stared at me, looking me up and down before smirking a bit.
Let's go on a little trip, shall we?
No, I'm okay. I don't want to go on a trip. I raised my eyebrow. What was she on about? First she wanted me to stay here, and now she wanted me to go out. What was with this girl? Oh, okay. Snip, snip. Before I could protest, the world began to spin around me, forcing me to jump up and grab onto Diana. I like her voice. I also like her voice. I honestly, like, some of the voice actors, I feel like, obviously, the way it's written is pretty cringe, but the voice actors make it a lot better, which is why I'm okay with this game. I feel like if there was no voice acting, I would have gave up on this by now. She held me as the rune spun practically out of control. My fear escalated and I buried my face in her boobs shoulder. I wanting it to stop. If she was trying to prove a scary point, it was working. We're in an office. Gross. I felt the world slow down around me and we soon came to a halt. I didn't want to look, but gently Diana pushed me away from her body for me to look around. I gasped when I realised that I was in a business office. What is going on? Where are we?
Just a simple business office. Nothing more.
Okay, suspicious. I looked around and felt an air of familiarity to the room. I couldn't figure out why, but my brain kept me aware that I knew this place somehow. I didn't get to think on it long. Suddenly a group of businessmen entered the room, stopping at the sight of me and Diana. Oh, Diana and me. Ugh. English.
What? Who are you two?
Oh my god, he's so gay! Who are you two? The fuck? Ugh. keep getting... Anyway, I froze what was going to happen. We were going to be thrown out, get in trouble, and I would never be allowed out again. This was a mild nightmare. Diana's giggle stopped my thoughts. I looked up to see her smirking at the group of men, a hand by her lips.
Why, do you not know who we are? For shame, for shame.
Diana guided me to a chair and sat me down before sitting on the table. I practically turned red as Diana hiked her dress to where the entire leg slipped out from the slit. She crossed her legs and tossed her head gently.
We are your employers. This lovely lady is the CEO of the company, and I am, however, are late.
They always do this. They do... Quaking, she's showing a leg. They always do this. They do... Like, the art, it's mid, but it looks okay. And then they do these, like, close-ups, and the art's just shit. The boob shape's okay, but what is that cleavage, man? Why are they separated like that? Ugh. I stared at Diana and she stared down at the group of men like a tigress would her prey. The group collectively began to shuffle in nervousness, surprising me. Were they really believing her lie? How? It's called magic, bitch. Diana smiled and lifted her leg slightly, making the men lean in for a possible panty shot. Do you think she likes whip? I think she does. She's flirted with me a couple times. I couldn't help but feel both stunned and slightly jealous.
One of you needs to come over here and kiss my foot as an apology.
Okay. What? I looked to Diana's foot, seeing it gently bob in slight impatience. Was she seriously going to make one of them kiss her foot? They obviously couldn't be that enthralled with her enough to stoop so low. Bruh. I felt my thoughts become destroyed as I watched the man step out from the group nervously and get on his knees in front of Diana. She gently cradled her foot in his hands. I tensed and held my breath. What is going on? No way. The man gently kissed over Diana's foot, making almost a sultry sigh escape her lips and sent a shiver down my spine. Diana smirked and leaned back on her hands, looking down at the man before her.
My ankle next.
I think the writers of this game are into feet. At least we can't see her foot. Like an obedient servant, the man travelled his kiss to her ankle as Diana let her head fall back with another sigh. Diana, what are you doing? See, me and Mike, we know what's up.
Proving to you how weak the human mind is.
Diana raised a hand above her and snapped her fingers, causing the group of ogling men that remained to straighten up like an army at attention. I felt myself tense. I felt myself, oh my god, I can't read, myself tense and catch my breath in response, but I couldn't feel any power over me.
Water, a massage, another kiss.
Okay. With each command, a man would separate from the group and fulfilled it obediently. I watched as each man became practically a slave to her whim. Diana closed her eyes and let out a pleasured hum, making my spine tingle again. For some reason, this irritated me beyond belief. Watching her be pampered by enthralled men made something crawl in my chest, something dark. If it wasn't made in 2015, this would be attractive. I wanted it to stop. See, that's what I mean. Like, it's a decent game, it's just the art style, man. What are we doing? Are we stopping this shit or are we carrying it on? Because I find this cringe as fuck to read. Please put me out of my misery. But then again, she might not stop just because I said so. Up to you. Okay. We'll try. Let's try our best. Diana and the men around her suddenly looked at me. Diana was a little surprised, but then slightly smirked.
Oh my. Is someone a little jealous?
No, I'm cringed. It's not like that. Just stop it. You've proved your point. Diana chuckled, making me wince. Would she stop? She wasn't obedient like the boys, so who knew of her? Diana then snapped her fingers, surprising me, forcing the men around her to huddle together where they were previously.
I have proven my point, haven't I? Oh well. I guess I got a little carried away.
Okay. Diana ran a finger over her lower lip and giggled at my face, though. What?
You're adorable when you're jealous.
I'm not jealous. Ugh, that keeps scaring me. Stop snapping. My face turned red instantly and I covered my cheeks, glaring at Diana. She giggled again before snapping her fingers and make the room around us fade away into darkness. Ash, get off Rachel's hands. Green packet.
Ow.
What?
I've got like a spot on the back of my leg, and when my pants rub against it, it really hurts.
Oh.
It's like someone's pulled me.
Oh.
This is the whole game.
What?
It's just pictures of words.
No, they have like voice actors.
It's like not moving.
What do you mean?
Like it's just pictures, it's like not actual people. Like
Yeah. It's a dating simulator, of course it's like that.
Is that you?
No.
That's
Yeah. It starts off with 4 or like 5 men ones, and then she comes to wipe your memories. And then I'm like, no. And then she's like, I'll give you a day. So you have to spend a day with her. And then I don't know what's gonna happen. It's my granddad's fault. It's my granddad's fault. Because my granddad dies and then leaves his mansion to me. So I get, because my dad's a little bastard, because he backhands me. And then he tells me that I have to move in the next day, and he doesn't really care about granddad dying. And then I go to the house and there's like 4 men there, and they turn out to be succubuses, and then they tell me off for calling them succubuses because it's succubi. And then they're just like here. And then they go away, and then she comes. What?
Ben with inside.
Ben with
Keep away from children and cats. Keep away from
from flannels. Why? What have flannels done? Stop reading the fucking candle instructions to me. A mere breath later, we were back in my bedroom with both of us on my bed. Diana stretched her arms up and smiled at me. Oh, she's smiling.
So, now do you understand the vulnerability of humanity?
I gritted my teeth. Humans weren't as weak as she claimed. I couldn't believe it. Just because we were weak didn't mean that we couldn't know about those who were supposedly more powerful than us. I glared at Diana. That justifies ignorance. How does that justify ignorance?
Ignorance is the only safety humans get to have. If humans were to know about us, do you know what kind of chaos would occur?
For once I felt scared. Diana's eyes were cold as ice and she stared into my soul, practically giving me the frightening feeling of the future I questioned.
There are already wars in the human world being fought amongst yourselves. Equality, dominance, power. The human world is practically the image of self-chaos. Innocent blood
Thanks.
is spilled every day in your world. Doesn't matter the color or creed you carry. You think blood is spilled now? There will be much more if humans knew about otherworldly creatures. Our existences can destroy beliefs in human logic.
Sorry, my mum shouted at me and then said doesn't matter when I said what. Whatever. I felt the world around me go dark as I stared at Diana. Sounds of screaming and battle raged around me, but I kept my eyes to the one person I could see. Was this an illusion? Was this a trick? It didn't feel like it.
Civil wars would clash. Paranoia would be a constant in every human mind. And soon armies will rise without true knowledge of who we are and what we can do. Vampires would be forced to retaliate and build armies of their own, and trust me, they're not as friendly as the vampires in your human fictional drabble.
Oh no, what if he clipped? Yeah, like Edward. Edward sparkles. I wonder if the vampires in this universe sparkle too.
Devils would have a heyday and wreak havoc, finally finding a collective weakness in the human world to exploit. Angels would have to come down and fight their devil rivals, and the human world would become their battlefield.
I could see the world Diana described flash before my eyes. I could see humans screaming and fighting each other, trying to figure out who was what and being frightful with every blink. I imagined devils like Malik's ravaging cities and killing people, while soldiers tried to fight back, failing and dying at every turn. The image was scary and I didn't want to imagine it. Shook my head, holding it in both hands before looking to Diana. My room had returned and Diana stared back at me. To my surprise, she had a concerned face.
The rules are to make sure that we all stay in peace. To have us all fighting at once would result in a massive cataclysm that would engulf everything and everyone, no matter what we were.
Diana finally broke away from the gaze she held on me and stared at the far wall. I could see a look of fear rush through her eyes as she looked away from me. I almost felt sorry, but my confusion covered my concern.
Demons already have enough on our collective plates. We don't need to become the backlash victims of broken ignorance.
Diana? Something in Diana's eyes made my heart almost hurt. Even though she wasn't looking at me, I could almost see all of the emotions that ran in her mind just by observing her eyes. I felt bad, terrible even, for questioning her as I did. Oh, I feel bad about it. I was only human after all. I'm just a weak human girl. I didn't mean it. However, I felt the need to comfort her. Something was going on and Diana was holding it back. Whether or not I learnt more by comforting her, almost didn't matter. Hello? English? Whoa. Oh my god. I could take her hand or I can wait. I'm guessing you want me to take her hand, right? Is that what we're doing? We're taking her hand. Take her hand! Yeah. I felt myself gently BK. I felt oh my god, I can't speak. I felt myself gently scoot closer to Diana before laying a hand on hers. Look at her face. She's like, what are you doing, bro? Diana stared at me for a brief moment before shaking her head frantically and shutting her eyes tightly. A soft sigh escaped her lips before she looked again at me with almost a new resolve.
I'm fine. I was merely trying to prove my points.
If you say so. The day then became filled with Diana teaching me about magic. Even when the day ended, I needed to learn more. I began to crave it. I begged Diana to stay despite knowing our deal. Diana, despite promising to only stay a day, agreed to stay longer. Slay! To tell me more. Soon days passed filled with lessons and examples of magic. Oh my god, we're getting to know her. She's staying. Knowing that I would be missed at school, Diana quickly took care of making sure I wasn't missed. Using a simple spell, as she called it, she recreated an illusion of me to go in my place. It was real to humans and acted just like me, but was like a ghost to demons. I kinda wished I would remember that spell. She told me of vampires, creatures that looked just like humans who had an inner hierarchy. There were 4 types of vampires, but all of them were under oath by rule of worlds not to hunt humans. So how do they like drink blood and shit? It was strange and it felt like a fictional novel, but Diana promised that vampires were not like the books. Okay. They had adapted to living with humans, creating a formula that allowed them to walk around during the day. Slay! You can kiss her, that is the question. That is the question. Can we kiss her? I don't know. We gotta save up for the other women. There will be other women that we can kiss. Even human women. I feel like we can get with Naomi if you really wanted me to. Yeah, so they developed vampire sun cream. They even had a blood bank as currency and made synthetic blood to quench their thirsts. Cute. They had real blood to drink, of course, but they got it either through hospital blood drives or black market means. It was surreal. But she's not human, that's the best part of it. Fair. Devils were as chaotic as Malek's was, but they were still all under the command of the very powerful fallen angel and devil king Satan. He, however, still had the heart of an angel. He was simply sitting in hell and waiting for an opening into the human world. Oh, I hoped it would never come. Angels, on the other hand, were not as I expected. When I thought of angels, I imagined beautiful human-looking creatures with wings and halos.
I still wonder who spread that rumor.
Diana explained that they actually looked monstrous. Each archetype of angel looked different, but Diana couldn't describe them all. The one that stood out most to me was the seraphim. She described it as a mysterious creature that hid behind 3 large pair of wings. Biblically accurate angels. Stop making me say that word. I don't know how to I don't know how to pronounce it. What if seraphim did look human?
Well, anyone who has met a seraphim and tried to find out
hey,
has
I did
not
it right.
lived to spill the secret.
I said it right. Go me. I gulped. It was scary to hear that for some reason. Angels were strict and were not as forgiving as many claimed. According to Diana, they had a love-hate relationship with humans, but they didn't try to dominate us. They only became mediators for the rule of the world. Why not?
I'd rather not get into that.
Why?
It's not my place to talk about heaven. Only the angels.
She also mentioned their methods for memory removal. As she self-proclaimed guardians of the humans, they had the right to baptize humans who held memories of the otherworldly creatures, should they find any in the human world. This baptism not only erased the memories of magic, but erased their entire memory clean. Humans wouldn't remember who they were or who they knew. A blank canvas. Demons, however, unlike the others, were passive creatures that only truly cared for their own world. They had their own lands, kingdoms, and lord living there. The most powerful demon in the abyssal planes was the Demon Lord. He was the incubi boy's father and was a ruthless man. He had conquered several kingdoms with a massive, indestructible army. Many demons died under his brutality, but when he did conquer, life for demons was like the human renaissance. Many feared that land he would attack next. However, to everyone's surprise, the Demon Lord had tried to be peaceful with Diana's kingdom, as she was offered as a bride to one of his sons. Why would you accept that? I'd rather have a succubus than an incubus. Of course you would.
I had no choice. I was barely a child when the decision was made, and when I learned of it, I had accepted it.
Yeah, but incubuses have peepees. Why though? Why would you? How would you know if you would be in love with the guy you married?
It didn't matter. My kingdom would be safe, and I would be able to live with knowing I was.
No, she's married. Fuck. Yeah, but clearly she doesn't really want to be with him. She can be with me. She's a succubus. It's fine. Pick me. Choose me. Love me. I stared at Diana as she smiled at me with sad eyes. She really didn't want to marry them. It was practically painted all over her face. See? She doesn't want to be with him. She didn't want to marry him. You shouldn't have to marry someone you don't love and don't say anything. No, we're going to comfort her. We're going to get in her pants. Diana's face shifted to one of surprise as she looked at me. I was being honest, though. She shouldn't have to marry someone to protect a kingdom. It would be safe, yes, but you would be unhappy. Can you live with yourself knowing that?
I'd rather be unhappy than see my kingdom burn to the ground. Besides, as the bride of the next demon lord, I'd have the ability to change things. I could disband his armies, bring peace to the abyssal plains.
But what about love? What about love?
Love.
Love. Diana looked at her lap and sighed.
Love can't exist for me. I'm the most powerful succubus in the demon world. Anyone who would go after me would only be entranced by my power.
Not me. I'm not. I guess you're right now. I'm not. I'm getting in her pants now. I'm going for it. Just for you, Ash. Diana chuckled, making me blush a bit. I was being honest, and here she was laughing at my words. How could she?
You're a human, dear. You can't know when I'm using my powers or not. I could be using them now, making you interested in me to trust me.
But you're not, are you? Ha. Diana then silenced herself. She stared at me, knowing that her silence would give me my answer. I smirked at her. You like me.
What?
You like me. You definitely like me.
I do not. I'm merely fulfilling my end of the deal.
Girl, we don't care if you use your powers or not. For real. We don't care. Use your powers on me. Girl, like, this deal was ended like 3 days ago and you're still here. You like me. You like me. Admit it. I felt like a tease. She was being nice to me and wasn't using her powers over me because she liked me. It was too obvious. You like me. You like me. You like me. Oh! Ash! What I didn't expect was her taking my hand and forcing me closer to her. A mere inch separated our lips, but Diana's stare into my soul made my mind go blank. Now she's using her powers on me. Damn. Gay. I barely remembered what I was saying. Diana remained holding me. I didn't fight. She stared into my soul and I allowed it. I was concerned at the same time. I was intrigued. Diana was indeed a beautiful woman. Is she? This angle's not doing her very good. Or me. Seeing her up close made my face turn slightly red in embarrassment. Any moment she could lean in and kiss me. Maybe even take my energy. Not my energy. Oh no. However, she didn't.
You are interesting for a human.
Ah! She then released me and stared at me, watching as I stared back at her with a red face. Did I like her? Oh my god, we like her! I shook my head. No way, that's impossible. We were just a business deal, nothing more.
Is there anything else you wanted to know?
Oh my god. I'm like shook. I'm invested. What the fuck? I stared at her as I thought. Was there anything else I wanted to know? My memories were forfeit in the end, so anything was up for grabs. Yeah, I couldn't think of a single question to ask. Was that all I wished to know? No, there was nothing else I needed to know. I felt satisfied. No, that should be all.
I understand.
Diana stood and adjusted the bottom of her dress before smiling at me. I barely noticed how much time had passed between us. It felt like forever, yet I enjoyed learning more. I felt bad that I had to lose my memories, however, there was a deal. That was the deal, and according to Diana, demons never go back on their word. I'm not satisfied, Mike.
Well, if you don't mind, there's one place I need to visit,
Ash,
and I'd rather
what would
visit it now
satisfy
than
you?
after I take your memories. I'll be gone from the area for quite a while anyway.
Wait, you're leaving me alone? She's leaving me, or am I going with you? Huh? Where do you need to go?
A cemetery. There's
Oh.
something I need to do there. It's boring, sadly, but I need to do it. You need to come with so I can watch you.
Is this about my granddad? Why did she need to go to the cemetery? Did she have a human friend she needed to say goodbye to? Did she have to meet another demon? Sure, let me...
No need to get dressed up. It's just a brief visit.
Diana snapped her fingers and the world melted into black. I stood and walked to be beside Diana, unsure of what was happening. Why wasn't the world spinning instead? Was the spinning a trick she did? I felt myself click my teeth in irritation of that thought. Soon the world grew back its colour and we were standing in a field I somehow recognised. She's taking us with her. She does like us. She definitely does. She's just pretending like she has to watch me, but she doesn't have to. I looked down and regretted it. I told you, this is my granddad! At our feet was grandfather's gravestone. It was untouched and clean as I last remembered seeing it. Why were we here?
Here we are.
Here? I stared at Diana as she muttered a small incantation under her breath. In her hands formed a small vase with purple lilacs. She gently knelt down and placed them beside the grave. She's being innocent today.
I had to pay my respects to this man.
Why? Were you a friend of his? I needed to know. My mind began screaming. Something wasn't right. Why did she know him? How did she know he was dead? What was their relationship? What was going on?
No, I wasn't a friend of his. I didn't even know him.
Then why are you giving him flowers? My mind began to screech louder in my head. What was it? Why? Why? Diana, why are you giving him flowers?
You don't need to know. I highly doubt you knew this man.
Yes, I do. Diana stared wide-eyed at me. A mixture of fear and surprise mixed in her eyes. My heart began to squeeze tightly in my chest. Why was she looking at me like that?
How do you know him?
Answer my question.
How...
I said answer my question. I couldn't hold in my voice. I needed to hear her answer, and I didn't want to hear anything else. Anything other than her answer would infuriate me. Diana looked down at the grave, letting out a small sigh. My heart tightened further. Further. Answer me. I need the answer.
This man helped the boys come to the human world. He opened a bridge and let them through, before sealing it with a part of his life force.
I told you! I literally called that. I called it. There was more. I knew there was more. I remained silent as she took a breath.
I had come to visit their castle one day, and when they told me that the boys were gone, I became frantic. Without the contract marriage, the demon lord would have had the freedom to march on my kingdom and conquer it. I couldn't let that happen. So I tried to find a way here. I searched the castle during my brief visit, trying to find out where the boys went. I found it. This man left behind a small trace of a spell, small enough to be undetected by the inhabitants of the castle.
Diana looked at me, a look of pain on her face that made my already pained heart feel like it was punctured by needles.
Demon magic is best with consent, but takes more energy when forced. So, in a blind need, I recast the spell and used that man's life force to open the bridge once more.
She
and seal it
killed
completely
my
when I
granddad.
I didn't know I was taking the rest of his life.
Ash, she killed my granddad. She.
By the time the bridge closed, the man had already passed. He was visiting someone in a nearby hospital.
Don't
When I left to
laugh!
find the boys, the staff had found him and tried to revive him. I didn't want to take his life. I thought he was a younger man. I didn't know he was as old as he was.
She.
It's my fault this man is dead. But I needed to come to the human world, and he was my only chance to get close enough to track the boys down.
You. Diana tensed up and stared at me. Her face was painted with regret and sadness, something not like her usual self. You killed my grandfather!
Your grandfather.
Attack her or run. What? I'm not attacking a demon, I'm running away. I needed to leave, I needed to go. Wait, she's gonna try to take my memories, man. I quickly turned and ran, hearing Diana call out from me from behind.
Wait!
I ran, I didn't look back, I couldn't look back. She started all of this. She was the one who turned my whole world upside down. She was the reason for this chaos I was in. She took my grandfather away from me. I ran through the gates of the cemetery and through the streets to my house. This time the world was in slow motion, and I was the one going in fast forward. I didn't care what was going on around me, I just needed to run. Yeah, but she has a pass because she's hot. Wow, she does not have a pass. She'll have to make it up to me. My heart began to freeze in my chest, pained by the feeling of needles and knives piercing through it. Tears were running down my face, but I knew where I was running. I ran through the front gates of my house and sprinted inside. I zipped up the stairs and ran into my room. As I slammed the door behind me, I began to weep violently. I leaned against the door and slid to the ground, crying. My world was crumbling and I didn't like it. My world was broken apart and I didn't want it. All I could do, though, was cry. My heart denied me from thinking about anything else. I cried. I continued to cry. I let my heart empty of its pain with each tear that ran down my cheeks. My scream echoed through my room, bouncing around and reverberating into my ears. I didn't care if it hurt to hear it. I didn't care about anything anymore. So dramatic. All I cared about was crying. I curled up into a ball and cried. I didn't even know when I passed out. I didn't remember closing my eyes, letting darkness take me. The darkness was comforting. I felt my sadness numb within it. There was no reality in that darkness to haunt me or hurt me. I wanted to stay within it forever. However, my body forced me to open my eyes. I saw the room focus around me and realised I was staring at the ceiling. She's becoming emo! She was already emo. We already discussed this. Have you seen her hair? The black with the comb over? I was in bed under my covers. I sat up and looked around, stopping to see Diana leaning against the balcony window, looking away from me. Why was she here? Did she carry me to bed? I felt my anger wanting to speak out against Diana, but noticed the puffiness around her visible eye. Had she been crying? Oh, she feels bad. Maybe she won't take my memories. Please don't. Seeing her bloodshot, puffy eye made me fully aware of my own eyes and how dried they'd become after crying. I rubbed my eyes and let out a shaky sigh.
I'm sorry.
I stared at Diana. My heart didn't want to hear it, but I let her speak.
I didn't want to come here in the first place. I only thought of bringing the boys back to protect my kingdom, so everything else became secondary. I didn't mean to take his life.
But you did.
I did. I can't ask for forgiveness.
Oh, I accidentally skipped what she said. My bad. My bad, Diana.
If I could turn back time, I would find another way.
Turn back time. Find a way. You know, it's because of you that I met the boys.
Huh?
I looked into my blanket-covered lap. I remembered the funeral, the moving, the meeting with the boys. Everything came at me at once, and now I had one puzzle piece that fit it all together. If my grandfather hadn't died, he'd be still living here and he'd be the one taking care of the boys instead of me. But he died and gave me his estate, so I came and met them for the first time. I looked at Diana, seeing her sad face. I could tell she really regretted her choice and she was upset. I couldn't sense any deception in her. I guess I have to thank you for introducing me to them and to magic, since my grandfather couldn't do it himself anyway. Diana looked down, pressing her lips together and closing her eyes.
I need to take your memories now.
No! You can't have them!
A deal's a deal. I fulfilled my part and told you everything. I had nothing left to tell you, and you can't keep those memories.
Yes, I can. I want them. I didn't speak. I watched as Diana argued into the air about taking my memories. It felt like she was now doubting the deal, not wanting to take away the truth from me. Did I want her to? This was my chance to return to ignorance. I'd never remember what she took my grandfather's life. I'd never remember everything she showed me and taught me. I'd return to normalcy. No, you can't have them! Diana stared at me, a look of almost despair on her face. I, however, kept my eyes to her. You took away my grandfather. What gives you the right to take my memories away? Oh, I'm guilt-tripping her now. I'm not done speaking. Take that away. I knew the truth now, and that was all that mattered to me. Screw the rules. Screw the rules! I deserve to remember everything. I was thrown into this mess because of you. No one has the right to take anything away from me. Diana took a step towards me and I was ready to snap at her. However, she gently
All right.
Oh. What?
I won't take your memories.
Okay. I stared up at her in shock. Was she serious? Forgive Diana, but it was better to know than to be left in ignorance. If this loads one more time, I'm gonna kill someone. What? Is it being slow? Eventually I would be able to move on. Until then, Diana was willing to stay and teach me the life my grandfather knew in redemption. What happened? Oh God, is it not... Where did you see up to? I didn't realise it froze. Turn back time, find a way. What did she do? Oh, I basically she killed my granddad. She killed my granddad, and then I saw her up to it. I wasn't done talking. Yeah, so she killed my granddad, and then, basically I guilt-tripped her into not taking my memories. She was like, okay, I won't take them. You're right. Eventually I would be able to move on. Until then, Diana was willing to stay and teach me the life my grandfather knew in redemption. Oh my God damn it. Has it froze again? I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi. It looks fine on my end. Because I have it open on... Oh fuck, it's my Wi-Fi. Shit. Well, we got an hour in. Hello, am I back? The game isn't showing anymore. Fuck's sake, no! Come on. Don't do this to me. No! Why? Why is it doing this? My Wi-Fi's literally fine, what do you mean? Is it fixed? Is it fixed? Come on. Come on. No! It says my Wi-Fi's fine while it's happening, why isn't it loading?